I now give the floor to the representative of Algeria.
Thank you, Mr. President. I wish to convey at the outset my thanks to SG Joyce Moussouya for her briefing. Algeria expresses a deep concern over the continued deterioration of the humanitarian situation induced by the military operation in Russia and Ukraine. The civilians continue to bear the heavy toll of this operation, with an important loss of civilian lives and a dire humanitarian situation. The destruction of critical civilian infrastructure, including residential both in Ukraine and in Russia, are still a source of deep concern. While describing an alarming situation, we are yet to see any perspective of desescalation. The recent developments are showing a completely different trend. Against this backdrop, Algeria is of the view that the following elements need to be addressed. First, it is essential to give a primacy to diplomatic endeavor towards addressing in an inclusive manner the dire humanitarian crisis in Ukraine. For that to be achieved, all parties have to choose the path of desescalation and compliance with the UN Charter and the international law, including the international humanitarian law. Second, the logic of confrontation cannot be sustained and has to leave space of restraint, dialogue, and negotiation guided by the principle of inclusiveness and peaceful settlement of disputes. In this very spirit, Algeria supported the initiative of the Arab League by being part of the Arab Contact Group, which met the two parties at an early stage of the conflict as part of good officers' efforts and called the international community to refrain from any action likely to obstruct the negotiation and prolong the crisis. Algeria reiterated its commitment to make any peace effort aiming of laying the foundation for a steady and peaceful solution to this crisis. Third, the continued polarization of this crisis is a source of serious concern for Algeria, as it contributes to prolong the crisis and heighten the risk of escalation, with adverse repercussions on international peace and security, as well as socio-economic consequences, including in terms of food and energy security. Despite the glooming picture we are getting from the ground, Algeria prefers to cling to the hope of peace. There is a need to identify all ways and means of putting an inclusive and fair peace process on track. Algeria still believes that multilateralism can deliver and calls for the intensification of international diplomatic efforts to resolve this crisis, thus avoiding the collapse of diplomatic norms and reaching a peaceful settlement based on the purposes and principles of the UN Charter and the legitimate Security Council of all parties. I thank you.
I thank the representative of Algeria for their statement.